you know, I've been sitting here for the last hour making a video on UFC 298. And I messed it up, had to restart, do the whole thing all over again. The whole video, by the way, is my predictions on UFC 298. Just the main card, though. So I'm going to get right to the point here. First fight we have on the main card is Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. It was supposed to be against Islam, the other Russian guy, Aleskarov. And that would have been a great fight. Unfortunately, it was canceled due to Aleskarov not being able to participate. So now he's fighting Kopylov Hernandez. And this is going to be a good fight. Kopylov's got the momentum. Hernandez is a good fighter. I'm going to go with Kopylov. It's just 50-50. It could go either way. This guy, Hernandez, he's got good jiu-jitsu. He's not the best in everything, or anything, rather. He's just got great fundamentals. Kopylov, I feel like he's got the momentum, the power, and the hunger. And I just see him winning that fight. And we can go back. We can go back to this video after the event, and we can critique, or we can be amazed at this amazing set of calls that I am showing everybody. Next fight up, Henry Triple C Cejudo versus Merab the Gremlin Dvalishvili. Now that man is hungry too, Dvalishvili. Henry Cejudo, he's kind of got one foot in the door, 1 foot out. And, you know, it's a close fight. I'm just going to have to go with Merab Dvalishvili. He's relentless. If he tries to take you down 100 times, he'll try to take you down 100 more times if he was unsuccessful the first 100. He doesn't stop. He's on crack cocaine when he's in there. He's on speed. He's a fucking lunatic. Henry Cejudo has that Olympic pedigree in wrestling, so he may be able to stuff a few hundred takedowns. But will he be able to stuff a few thousand? I don't know. And Dvalishvili's a big 135er. It's going to be a lot of sniffing crotches in that one. I'm going to go with Dvalishvili. So far I have Kopylov, Dvalishvili. Next fight, Ian Machado Gary versus Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal is no joke with those hands. Watch some of his previous fights, some of the knockouts he has. If he connects, it's a bad day at the office. That's all I can say. Ian Gary, he's got the skills that pay the bills. He's got good footwork. He's in, he's out, he's here, he's there. I think he's going to win the fight. As much as I don't want him to win the fight, I was a fan of him when I first saw him come into the UFC. It was a little cringy with the whole trying to be Conor McGregor type thing, but that's neither here nor there. I just think he's going to win the fight, unfortunately. So I'm going to go with Ian Gary. Next fight, Paulo Costa versus Robert Whittaker. I must say that I was shocked when Robert Whittaker lost the way he did against Dricus. I still think Whittaker is the better MMA fighter. He just didn't have the heart or the chin to withstand Dricus. It was a strong jab that dropped him. I mean, he walked right into it. I didn't see that coming, but it happened. It's over. It's complete. And now he's going to fight Paulo Costa, who has a lot of power. Not the most technically sound fighter, but he's got a lot of power. And if he connects, he can put Mr. Whittaker to sleep. Put him in his jammies for the night. But I'm going to go with Robert Whittaker on this one. I'm going to go with Robert Whittaker because he does have the skills, the experience, and I'm just going to go with Robert Whittaker. And then on to the main event. Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. Now, this is an interesting one, and I have to be careful with this pick because I will say that I am definitely leaning towards Volkanovski, just the pedigree. He's another caliber of fighter than that of which Topuria has ever been in the octagon with. Topuria is hungry, and he seems a little psychotic, a little bit of a nutcase in there. Something ain't right, if you know what I mean. He's 27, Volk's 35. He does have a shorter reach. He does land less significant strikes. He isn't as accurate. He does get a couple more takedowns, and he's a little more accurate, and he has a couple more submissions. But Volkanovski's feints, when they're standing, are just beautiful. He'll throw you off and pitter-pat you, and he's not nobody to take lightly at all. And I know Topuria has great inside boxing, so that's where I feel like this fight will get interesting, is if he gets in close on Volk, Volk's going to have to be careful. Because we have seen him now get knocked out, although he did take that fight on short notice against Islam. And he did look a little flabby around the waist. He didn't look like the Volk that's chiseled. And I know it was up a weight class, but let me be honest with you. He still, when he fought Islam at 155 the first time, he looked solid. He looked fit. He didn't look flabby around the waist. That's what taking a fight on 11 days notice will do. This fight, he has a full camp. I just hope he's mentally there, and he should be able to put on a performance. I don't know if it's going to be a dominant one. I think this is going to be a close fight. I think I can see it going 3-2 for Volkanovski. Especially in those early rounds, he needs to be careful. As the fight progresses, I see Volkanovski pulling away on the scorecards and winning a unanimous decision and solidifying himself as, without a doubt, the greatest featherweight. And that's just it, especially taking out the caliber of competition that he has and sustaining that. There was other news in the MMA world. Mark Madsen retired. He found out that he doesn't want to get kicked and punched in his face. And yeah, he said, "Fuck that! I'm done." Look at him. He had a little run. Looked good. First 4 fights in the UFC. He was he's an Olympic silver medalist. He came in. He was a little old to be getting into the UFC, but he tried, and he had a couple of really good fights. A couple of boring ones, and then lost his last 2 and said, "Fuck it." So he's gone. So long. It was great seeing you for the few days that you were there. Also, DC does not want to see, that's Daniel Cormier, does not want to see Bilal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards at UFC 300 as the main event. Now, I want to see this fight too, but I don't think it should be the main event. It could be the co-main, but they already have a co-main from what we've seen on Dana White's War Room in behind him on the little sign. It's Max Holloway versus Gaethje, and Yan Xiaonan versus Weili Zhang are the top 2 fights they have right now. But they're still looking for a main event. They need to do better, and I agree with DC on this. I agree 100% wholeheartedly, and I just agree. I think that's what it comes down to. This guy right here, Bilal Muhammad. I know he had an eye injury, but he backed out of that fight. He wanted to keep his record. I know his eye hurt. I've seen worse, and guys continue to fight. And he pulled out. He wanted to keep his unbeaten streak going, and he has racked up a couple of good wins since that no contest. Beating just recently Sean Brady, and then Gilbert Burns, Dorino Burns. He beat him. Wasn't a question. Burns was hurt, but he looked like he was winning the fight before that. And the Sean Brady just dominating him, finishing him by a knockout. I mean, didn't see that one coming, but hey, it's always nice to have a little surprise once in a while. So my picks for UFC 298 main card are Alex Volkanovski defeating Ilia Topuria, Robert Whittaker defeating Paulo Costa, Ian Gary defeating Jeff Neal, Merab Dvalishvili defeating Henry Cejudo, and Roman Kopylov versus Anthony Hernandez. And fuck it, I'll give you a quick little rundown of the prelims. Amanda Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern. I'm going to go Lemos. Tafa versus De Lima. I'm going to go Tafa. And this guy right here, I'm glad I did this. Rinya Nakamura, he's a little tank in the 135-pound division. He's got, like, high-caliber wrestling over there from Japan. He's another big name. Everybody's talking about Tatsuya Taira at 125. He's amazing. But this guy, Rinya Nakamura, keep an eye out for him. If he wins this fight and continues to put up and string together a couple of good wins, this guy is going to be in the top 15 within the year. And he's no joke. He's no joke. We just have to see how he does against competition that stiffens. Dobson versus Gore. That's a bet. That's split. I'm going to have to go with... man. I'll go with Gore. I think he just needs to get a win. Ming Yang versus Ribeiro. I'm going to go with Ribeiro. Quinlan's coming off a loss. He's going to bounce back against Barlow? I don't know. That's a good fight right there on the prelims. That's a good fight. Oh my goodness, I don't know who's going to win that fight. I'm 50-50 on that. Elliott versus Woodburn. I'm going to go with Elliott. And Andrea Lee versus Miranda Maverick. I'm going to have to go with Miranda Maverick. Those are my picks for the UFC 298 full card. And please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will be posting another video shortly. I was already making a video prior to this, but it wasn't allowed to go up because, of course, there's always bullshit on YouTube. So please like, subscribe, share with a friend, and let's get this thing going. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.